Welcome to Table Talk with TLC. I'm your host Siddhansh, and today I have two very interesting guests with me, Kevin and Aryan from UniveConnect.in. And hi, Kevin. Hi, Aryan. How are you guys doing today? Thank you for being here.
Sorry, did you
Hi,
say
Siddharth.
unique advice?
Uh,
UniveConnect, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Sorry, there's a bit of a problem on my audio. I heard something else. My bad. Yeah, unique.
uh,
Okay.
Yeah. Hi. Hi, guys. What's up?
Hi. Yeah, everything's good. As good as it can be.
After a lot of logistical issues, we are here.
We tried to do the call yesterday. Then we spent 10 minutes trying to clap at the same time. So it's not the greatest moment to start. But yeah.
Okay. So tell me about you guys. Tell me about UniveConnect. Like, first, tell me about yourself.
Yeah. So I'm Aryan. Uh, as stated. I'm the founder at Unit Connect. It's an, you could say it's a student organization, and currently we are going to restart operations by June end. And we're looking forward to it. And I study at University of St. Andrews in Scotland.
all right. Yeah, so I'm Kevin. I study at UNC Chapel Hill. And again, we with Unif Connect, we started it out as a fun organization, it really took off. And here we are again. And we hope to be back in June. And we're working on a bunch of exciting things. So, yeah.
Okay. So tell me about UniveConnect. So when I went to the website, it's from what I can understand, it's a student advisory organization, right? But tell me more. What's it like? What's the process like?
Yes,
Why
somewhat that.
student advisors?
So, one thing that we came across was that we could talk about how it all started. So it was about March, I think 2020. Lockdown had just been announced and stuff like that. And I kept on pitching ideas to Kevin, one idea after the other. And he was like, rubbish, crap, even worse. Why are you calling me? I'm blocking you. So five ideas. By the time of the fifth idea, it was I'm blocking you. Then came this idea, and I told him that, you know what, let us counsel and advise kids who are going to go to university because they cannot visit their campuses this year. And that was the base of the idea. So initially, it started off very differently from what we are doing originally. So then I reached out to Kevin and I reached out to my other co-founder, Tiny Gangwani, and three of us came together and we started Unif Connect, which was basically we were going to advise kids who went to University of Southern California, which is Tyne's University, University of North Carolina, which is Kevin, and University of St. Andrews, which is mine. We were just going to advise those kids because that's what we knew. Then I came to the realization that maybe we could apply this model and try and advise kids around the entire spectrum who are going to study even abroad or even private universities or public universities in India. And that's how Unif Connect came to be. So swallowed up all our ego, did not expect people to reach out to us at all if they wanted to be a part of the team, even though we are recruiting. We called up each and every advisor we wanted on board personally, told them that we really, really want to because we really, really did need them. And in the end of the day, the advisors built Unif Connect. We might have founded it or co-founded it, been the face of it, but we are nothing without the people who came on board willingly and also who were ready to just give advice for the fact that they wanted to help people in such a tough time. And also the fact that they wanted to help people because when we are going to a university, normally when you go on the net and when you see videos online, you're not able to get your personalized, what an experience will be for you and what are you the right fit for it or anything like that. And there are several, YouTubers now who are doing a fantastic job explaining that, you don't actually have to find a right fit university for you, because you really can't predict what your personality and how you fit in a university in the future. You just need to understand what the culture and the people and what are the subjects and education societies, basic stuff like that. And if that interests you, you might, be able to fit in more easily, I would say. That's basically what we try to do. And yeah, it turned out to be, I wouldn't say a great success, but in our moderate amounts of uh, highs that we achieved, it was a highly exciting and amazing experience, because you learned so much from the fact that you had to start from scratch. You learned so much that people didn't care normally would be like, oh, companies and their, uh, we reached out to so many companies, and we've spoken to, these are MSMEs, okay, and counseling companies, and we had the opportunity to speak to so many, top counselors, and it was really a great learning experience. If I'm just being honest, it was just an amazing learning experience.
Yeah, to top that off, it was also like, I would re-emphasize the whole point about it being a great learning experience, because it was also when, like, we saw that whole COVID, the rise in the amount of cases, things getting really, really bad, and then things kind of like easing off, and then people being optimistic, and like, just seeing how the economy and like just all the cycles kind of like moving up and down so rapidly. uh, that was an interesting time to, like, have market experience, because I don't think it's gonna be the same, you know post and pre-pandemic. So I think we really lucked out in terms of experience, and like whoever was with us on that journey also kind of had a good time understanding, and taking part of this change.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, so a part about a good part about being an entrepreneur in college is that you are not propelled or compelled to like earn as much as you're compelled to learn. And I think the best experience or learning that anyone can get is hands-on. So, you can try all internships that you want. You can try all, every assistant that you want. But if you're going out there yourself, if you're reaching out to people yourself, there's a different level of experience and learning that comes across, because you have to learn how to write mails, how to do calls, how to build websites and design stuff, how to talk to people, how to sell, how to manage a page, everything. And you have to do that all by yourself. It's not that you're going to a specific place to do a specific thing कि अब इस बड़ी कंपनी में जाके मैं सेल्स कॉल बनाता हूँ, नहीं, मैं अपनी कंपनी में सब करता हूँ.
No, 110%. I couldn't agree with you more, Siddharth. And the second thing that Kevin and I always talk a lot about. Now, although Unif Connect didn't end up, going the startup, monetize it and stuff like that. One thing that we clearly both agree on, because we disagreed on a lot of stuff, because founders and co-founders disagree on
A lot.
nearly everything you could say.
Yeah,
Kevin and
I
I
would
are
say
the
everything. Yeah.
we're very
I,
different in the commercial perspective when you run something. Kevin is
agreed.
very good with setting me straight, because I used to come up with these weird, highly aspirational ideas. And Kev's a finance guy, so he's like, boss, look at the risk. Okay, let's balance out the risk. Here we are taking a lot of risk. For example, we came out with the cookbook. That's one thing I put the gamble on, and it worked. And that was one risk that we took. Now, to reduce the amount of risk, we decided, okay, we are not going to come out with any more content on our Instagram page. So we used to balance out the risks in our organization, like I felt like any financial institution would, because Kev was really able to pull that off fantastically well. and so did timing too. So, but one thing that we all three, I think, agree about, uh, and we've spoken about a lot, is that student entrepreneurship, or when you're doing it in university, it's not all about, if you have the opportunity to and the chance to, don't always aim to make a quick, buck
But
from
yeah, couldn't agree more.
entrepreneurship, because uh, at least when you're in this university stages, at least for us, we were, I don't know if you're going to go ahead and become entrepreneurs. We might not. But the skills, I think, that we've been
Hmm.
able to, garner in terms of communication and in terms of building an entrepreneurial spirit, which helps you even inside an
Hmm.
organization. Because an entrepreneur is as
Anywhere.
important as an entrepreneur. If you don't have an entrepreneur, you wouldn't have the iPhone.
True.
Okay, because they come up with the ideas
Yeah.
inside the company. So what I realized was
Hmm.
that the skills that we were able to garner in terms of communication, in terms of actually being serious with what we did, because in school you're like, 4 घंटे के sleep के साथ I can manage my day. When we
Hmm.
started Unif Connect and we realized we actually have to have meetings with company professionals and some executives, we realized that, we need to look fresh. We need to dress up a certain way on a call. We can't just be there. We can't just appear.
Hmm.
So it did
Hmm.
instill a lot of professionalism in the way we carried out ourselves in the day-to-day workings that we did with people.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes it much more professional, makes it much more, you respect other people's time. You know what goes
Focus.
inside an
Right.
organization. Like, I think
Yeah.
what a lot of people don't realize, like, if they're not doing something that is either taking up a lot of their time, or they are connecting with someone who's, let's just say, values their time a lot, is that the value of time. So, if you're into something like entrepreneurship, you know how valuable time is. And that's why, I've even seen you, Aryan, when this was getting delayed, you were like, I'm really sorry for my delay. So, that's something that some people realize, that okay, people have their schedules, and time is, yeah, really something.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, and also I wanted to say something about the whole entrepreneur thing that Arjun mentioned. Like, I think we both agreed on this, that like, you don't have to be an entrepreneur to have an entrepreneurial mindset. You know, you
True.
can you can it doesn't you don't have to have like a startup to be involved with that kind of ideology and that kind of mindset.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it does become a function of how willing you are to go ahead and take a risk. And with the whole cookbook thing, I'm glad Aryan decided to override what I had to say about it, because I was like, Aryan, a cookbook, that's crazy, but like, what will our clients think about it? What will our partners think about it? It could really go south from here. But it did surprisingly well, and it kind of gave us a reach that we wouldn't have been able to get with following our safe and well planned out tactics. uh, but yeah, definitely, I feel there's a lot of risk involved as well, which
So
you know
what kind of risk you're talking about? Like, okay, you're
mm,
very risk averse, like you, like
yeah.
very risk aversion, but what kind of a risk that are we talking about here?
Well, let's put it this way, right? We didn't, since I think we ran a pretty lean kind of operation right there. We didn't have too much of a financial exposure, but at least not significant amount. But what we were really banking upon was, we did have like a powerful reputation, right? We were talking like, counselors in different cities knew who we were. And it really would. And so, like, anything we did that was like, that reflected and had to deal with our public image, it had to be carefully crafted, and we had to like think about it and talk about it and see, like, hey, if we said this, would our student advisors be upset? Would our collaborators be affected by this? And like, what does it say about our future relationships? What do people expect from us? So I would
Yeah.
say
It's
that's
it's
the
not
most.
about me. Yeah. I completely agree with Kevin there. sorry to interrupt you, but I couldn't agree more that you also learn that every expenditure has to be noted for. We actually didn't at to grow. I don't know how many clients we served. I think about 1,000+ clients, and to do that, I think the
Wow.
only thing that we incurred an expenditure for was uh,
I say
the website,
the
the
website, and
domain,
maybe like a few Zoom packages here and there. But the
two
the truth is
packages.
the
So overall,
situation.
an expenditure of 2,600 rupees, which is a significant amount. But
Yeah,
for the returns you were able to get in terms of people that had reached out to us,
yeah,
comparatively, we
Hmm.
had hundreds of people nearly in every webinar that attended our webinars. And we were able to do this all via free marketing. So I really thought the key to
right,
success was also a bit of organic growth.
right,
We didn't care about how many followers we had on Instagram ever,
I agree.
because we were like, it's the social media page is always going to be active. And I think what helped us a lot was the fact that each advisor was posted onto the Instagram page, because I really realized the
Hmm.
power of social media then, because you really feel included when someone talks about you on their page, because you know that person is actually
Agreed.
and just piggybacking off that, it is. I think the whole thing that COVID
what I
proved.
felt. And
Yeah, Aryan, sorry to cut you off there, but
no, no, please
I
continue. Yeah, sorry.
just the yeah, just the whole thing with like the community thing that Aryan was talking about. It's like with COVID and with the whole Unif Connect community that we formed, it just goes to show like how important community is to not just like startups, but like just generally, how you can't get too far if you don't kind of like understand what people want and like what they need you to deliver to them. And I feel that kind of played out really importantly for us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you guys looked at a legitimate problem, and I was like, and they're like, we'll solve it. So, like,
yeah,
one question
that
that
would be
arises
amazing.
for me was like, why do we need Unive Connect? Like, don't colleges have their own brochures? I mean, I'm looking at it from a very skeptical stance, but is it something different from what the colleges tell you? And that's what I'm trying to know. Because all colleges have their own brochures, they have
So
their
I
counselors as well.
110%. Every college has their brochure, every college has their counselor. In fact, colleges have fantastic student ambassador programs, which I would highly
True.
recommend every kid attend, because the university student ambassadors might have some extra information that an average student might not, because every ambassador is told what to say and is given a list of information on what has to be
Exactly.
spoken and what has to be covered. So they
Hmm.
might know more about the university, the culture, the history. But if you want to ask some really personal questions, normally you can't ask that to a student ambassador. And because you're going to be normally interacting with the student ambassador in a large group. And also you can't personally contact student ambassadors very easily, because they are not on the website. They are not, it's nowhere. You can't just go and click and be like, I want to chat with you. It's not possible. What we, I think, made possible was ease of connectivity with people in university. We've realized that there was like a huge wall between school and university kids. It was not like an 11th and 12th, like junior and a senior, that, oh, I can reach out to him that easily. People were even reluctant to reach out to their school seniors,
Right.
because now they were in uni.
Exactly.
So what we wanted to remove was the fact that, we want to first ease out the process, that you don't need to mail the university, wait for them to reply. If you want to talk to someone urgently or ask some personal questions, we always told every client of ours, and every client told us that they could really talk openly with our advisors, because it was one-on-one. And that's something you rarely get. So the fact that it was one-on-one and it was a video call majority of the times made the advisors on one hand and the clients on the other hand very comfortable talking about what they can study, what life is like, what are even the pros and cons of going to that university? Because I won't give a pros and cons of university, but I can give a pro and con of a country. Canada was a country which is high in demand with kids who want to study abroad. And one pro is the fact that Canada has very liberal in terms of giving offers to work there and stuff like that. But the fact is also that Canada is very cold. So if you can't handle the cold and you're going to a really cold place to study, normally people wouldn't go to Canada, and then people even consider the distance because people say US is so far, Canada is even beyond that. So there are a few cons which uh, someone at a uni might not tell you. They mostly would, but something they might not tell you, and that's what our advisors did. I think they told even the small things that students didn't like
Hmm.
Right.
about the city, stuff like that, stuff that you would love to hear normally.
Right. And
Hmm.
it really comes down to a matter of perspective, right? Because like for a lot of people, if I mean, if you think about it, right? Toronto is a lot closer. I mean, in terms of like geography, Toronto is a lot closer to us than, say, a UCLA. But like people still think of it as like, oh, it's Canada, it's far away. You know, uh, when they think
Hmm.
about things, and if you were to just, and us international students, right, like with the original idea that we had gone through with, what do we have to, what are the resources we have that which will give us information about universities abroad? It's either a brochure, maybe if you're lucky you'll get a college rep that comes to your school. Again, they don't visit very often. And or it's like a college counselor. And if you just think of it from the student's perspective, do you really, would you really trust advice about living on college from a student counselor who's like 65, and has spent max 5 days visiting with like a with like some sort of like professor, or someone else who's of their age, who's not someone who's actually like lived there. And the other resources like brochures, but you can't talk to a brochure. You can't, and a brochure is not going to tell you like what the actual problems are, what the students face on a daily basis. So you want someone who's like, someone who you can relate with, and someone who's lived there on campus, recently, that you can connect with and talk to, uh, before you actually make that choice. And again, international students
Hmm.
we already don't have the opportunity to like go touring all the universities that we apply to. Like, I mean, you're really not going to be able to go to HKU and then Berkeley and then UNC and then back up to Toronto. Like that's it's just going to be an ordeal, you know. But yeah, so
Yeah.
that's why I kind of felt that like this was important.
Yeah. So because like universities, whenever they tell you about themselves, they're usually selling themselves to you, and I guess you guys don't do that because you guys don't need to. It's like this is just a platform to talk to people.
Right,
It's like
exactly.
Yeah. In
it's
fact, the
it's
one
like
thing
getting
that we
married. It's like
ensured,
getting
I
married to
think every
colleges,
advice,
like shadi.com to colleges.
more
That's
than
what it
that,
is.
we ensured, as you stated, Siddhansh, rightly so, that, please do not sell your university from any angle because uh, there are some things about it which you might not like. Tell them. Okay, just be
Exactly.
very honest because students, I love honesty. If someone came and told me, what, this is not good about this place, I'd love to know that because I'm 100% sure that majority of kids have pros and cons list for a lot of kids who are going to study abroad or even in India. So if you just know what a con is, it might really swing your decision to the other university. So I really feel it's important to know everything.
Exactly.
And the fact that you couldn't actually go visit universities this year, it was, I felt the need of the hour. At least those who really understood those value of what we were able to bring to a few kids who really wanted to go abroad and study because even it was a shock of a universities. they had to change all their events to online events. Everything had to be done within a month. So that
Hmm.
also took them time, but of course they handled it very well.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think it's needed, both the perspectives.
Right. Yeah, and also
So
like
have you guys been approached by universities like to tell कि हम हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी के बारे में अच्छा बोलना?
mm,
Sorry,
like could you
sorry, you
repeat
said
that
I was
something.
question?
saying have you guys been approached by yeah.
No,
I
no, no,
said have you
no,
guys
we've
been
not.
approached by universities and stuff to keep a check on you कि मतलब
No, we've not. But in fact, there is a business school in Europe. I am forgetting the name. One of our advisors went there, an absolutely fantastic undergraduate business school where you do 1 year in a different country in Europe. I think Kevin would
Yeah,
remember this.
it's no, it's a,
And this was a big
yeah.
achievement for us because they're a well-known business school in Europe, and they just started an undergraduate program and they reposted our post. That had never happened to us. They had like some 29,000, 30,000 followers. And when they reposted our post, we were like, wow, like this, if a university is willing to repost something that we put on their main page, then we can definitely, continue with this idea. So no, no university
it's
reached out to us,
validation.
but university did help us in organic growth
Hmm.
by
It's
reposting it without
validation.
us
I mean,
asking. It was very cool.
yeah, like it's like getting validated for your idea because people like you and me, we're like what 19, 20. We don't have a lot of skin in the game. We don't know how this space works out. But if someone who has skin in the game is telling us that okay, you're going in the right direction, then you know that yes, you can continue with this. Because I remember
No,
when I
that
started Mentep and I approached people I know, psychologists, lawyers, anyone who was like who had a lot of experience, they were like, you should fly with this idea. And I was like, spot on. I mean, at least we're going in the right direction.
no, I think one thing is for sure that people are actually way more helpful than you can imagine, even if it's the ones that point out some problem. We had several people, advisors, clients who said, boss, you all need to get a website. Okay. Your entire program in the first 1 week, the first week we didn't have a website because we were like, Instagram page ke saath, we will be able to manage the entire
Hmm.
process. They said, no, you'll need a website because there's a lack of inefficiency and professionalism that you're portraying. Because the educational world is one which is
I
way more
agree.
professional and I would say way more formal than any other industry out there. At least at our age, we
Hmm.
really had to professionalize the way we portrayed ourselves because it was a much more serious industry, you could say. Um, so we had to come up with a website, and we had to have a time limit, 3 days. And thank God, Tynan, if you're seeing this, our co-founder really pulled off an amazing job. In fact, you can check it out again, unifconnect.in. And uh, one thing that I really realized with entrepreneurship, as you stated, was skin in the game. That don't just dip your toes because then you're not bound to take risks. Take the dive, okay? Because you know what will happen max to max. Okay, I don't mean take the dive
हाँ.
financially. Don't put in like thousands and
Yeah.
lakhs of rupees
हाँ,
into the
मतलब घर
company
मत बेच
without a
दो अपना.
plan. But I mean, be willing to give 10 hours of your day in the summer vacations.
हाँ.
Okay. I will not
Yeah.
forget there were days that Kevin and I would get on call at night 9 p.m. Our design strategist would join at 11 p.m. We would have a meeting with our interns at 8 p.m. From 11 p.m. to 5 a.m., we would work on ideas. Then those ideas would get accumulated, written down, and Anubhav would then sit and design those ideas 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. for social media, our website, rebranding, stuff like that, that he would handle. Then from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m., I would write down what has to, because Tynan would not, we were very bad with our timings. And, and I really, so we would sleep during the day and the other people would work during the night. would take in the day and we would do the work at night. So we worked on the
Hmm.
timings really well because you had a team working at night doing the work. The team in the day implemented that. So at 5 a.m. I would sit what all the team who is going to work in the morning has to do, and they would implement all those ideas. Then I'd get up by 12. Kevin would be up by 12, and we would look at all those ideas. Of course, this was during the summer vacations, but it was really interesting because we really jumped into it without a float. We decided to deep dive and learn swimming on our own basically, because that's the
Yeah.
only way you could actually learn from what you are doing. And we did have many pitfalls. I would say currently we are also in a major pitfall for months. We had lack of ideas. We didn't know what else to do. We didn't know if we should formalize it as a company. We didn't know if we should go as a startup. Should we raise funding? We had no clue. But it was a learning experience. You spent hours researching, you spent hours arguing, you spent hours contemplating. There were different plans formulated. While studying, you had to ensure you wouldn't get distracted with work. So you would just write ideas behind your book and then
Hmm.
get back to studying, because you have to balance studies also.
Yeah,
And
I mean, yeah, you
one,
cannot fail college and
so
do
it was
this.
really, we really deep dive into it, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I believe something like this, something of your own, it also gives you freedom. And I think who like people who exercise freedom, like as you said, you work for like 10 hours at a stretch. Even I have seen, how working like that goes, and you get all tired and worked up after that, but you still don't regret it, because a lot of people I know, they have signed like MOUs with companies for 3 months internship, and they are like making them work 6 hours now, and they are being like worked up, and they're like, I hate it, but I still have to do it. I'm like, I still work a lot. You guys also work a lot, but we don't hate it. When we go to sleep, we are like, अच्छे से काम हो गया.
But
Yeah,
one
it's
thing,
not only
Siddharth, I just want,
work if
sorry,
you.
Kev.
It's not, okay. It's not only work if you enjoy it.
No,
Like
Kev, please
I
go
know
ahead. My
that's
bad.
I know that's cheesy, but like if you're enjoying it, is it really work?
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I say this work as a standpoint, because you do get tired, right? But
oh
you do
yeah,
not,
100%, yeah,
but you do not feel bad, or think about it, thak gaya, kya hoga,
100%. No, I get it. I get it completely. And that's a different. Yeah, I get completely what you're saying. You get, at the end of it, you're exhausted, but then for at least for me, I felt that like at the end of it, I'd be like, wow, I'm exhausted, but like
itna
it's
ho
it's
gaya.
because there's just it's so much has happened, and it's a byproduct of like how the growth occurs as well. It's just so rapid, that it takes a while to get used to.
100%. Yeah. But Siddharth, just to bring up a point you said, one thing I would like to just like not state really, I'm not giving gyan nothing. But one thing that we realized was that in terms of entrepreneurship, yes, you should take your gambles, or in student entrepreneurship. Let me place it like that, because I think it's a different ballgame to be a student entrepreneur and an entrepreneur, because sometimes you're not starting an organization with the aim of monetizing it. Sometimes you're just starting an
Hmm.
organization because idea aa gaya, and you just
हाँ.
want to try it out, because this is the age where
हाँ.
you can actually just do that, because you're not,
हाँ.
majority of us touch wood don't have to put food onto our table, and that's somewhat provided for us, so we can take some amount of risk in our summer vacations. But there are several pros at interning at the large companies, because when you learn how a large chain or a large organization runs, you can learn so much, because they are handling 30,000 people. So, of course, you might not learn a lot from the job that you're doing sometimes in an internship because you don't like
Hmm.
it, maybe. But what you can really leverage from that internship is the amazing opportunities to ask seniors questions. Because
Yeah.
believe me, they are really willing to answer questions. So you
Hmm.
can ask them, what is it like to handle a team? Because today we were dealing with hundreds of rupees or thousands of rupees in budget, counting for every pen bought, stuff like that, that we don't spend too much on it.
Hmm.
Because s- couldn't some people can't afford to. We didn't want to at a point because we weren't sure how far it's going to go. But in an organization, they are handling budgets, you're handling HR, you're handling so much, and that helps you, in fact, in your entrepreneurial journey because it
I
takes you
agree.
one step closer to understand how an organizations run.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. Like even I done a couple of internships while running my own thing, and I went there. I looked at how teams work because some learning something like Notion or Google Drive or something that I
That's my
learned.
favorite. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, Notion is lovely, man. I love
Definitely.
Notion.
Notion's the best. I have. I would say it's like one of the top productivity tools out there.
Yeah, I mean the versatility and everything. I mean, कुछ भी बना लो तुम Notion पे. It's like that.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I really learned how to use that in an organization, and then I came back to my own, and I'm like, okay, ये रही Google Drive, ये रहा Notion page, चलो काम पे लगो.
Exactly. Yeah. And I
Oh
think
yeah, definitely. It's
im- I think one more important point that I'd like to bring up is, as a student, since we're talking about it, entrepreneurship as a student at an early stage, one of the most important things you have as a student is like at least for us, since we're privileged, we don't have to worry about putting food on the table, as Aryan said. But what we're constantly thinking about is, our most precious commodity, which is the time that we have. We have 3 months in the summer, and we just like try to cram it up with like as many as you want, like a internship at like a huge company. You want to learn a new skill. Maybe you want to pick up coding or something. And you know since commodity, our most valuable commodity at that point is time. It's really dipping your toes in, would be not giving enough time to something that you think has promise. And when going off what Aryan said about taking a deep dive, doesn't mean like selling your house and kind of like putting all your cash into a venture. It means giving what you feel has promise, and what you think calculated. If you take calculated risk on it, it's giving
yeah.
it the time it deserves as a student. And
I'd
I
say
think
keyword is calculated risk because
exactly,
people,
yeah,
Yeah,
there are these Instagram pages. I'm sorry to talk about that, but they're like, take a risk, jump, run,
it's
entrepreneurship.
like
It
it's
is the
it's
future,
nothing like
but
yeah, but
100% have a plan, have an idea which is implementable, have a team which you trust, have co-founders which you trust, and sometimes you're not at the right space to jump into entrepreneurship. So really ask yourself, am I
yeah,
at the
you need to
right
know the
time?
appetite,
Will
right?
I be able to give it? Yeah, because your risk appetite in entrepreneurship has to be very large, very, very large.
Exactly.
Because
Huh.
I'll give you a great example. We were willing to, at a point when I would say we were really growing way faster than we were expecting. We were like, we can't sustain like this, of course, because it's always like this, if it's doing well 1.5 months in, 6.5 months in, we'll be 3 times this. It it happened somewhat, but it was not easy. It was not like it was 3 times this like this. We had to put in like so much work and effort in, which I'm
10
sure
times the
everyone
work.
out there puts in. I think a great example would be the new set of influencers that have come up. And I mean, if even if you don't watch Instagram content, these people have garnered so many followers. They put in so much hard work. They edit their own videos. They come up with their own video
Yeah.
ideas. How do you personalize? How do you create your own style? So although there are
Hmm.
tons of influences, it's so much hard work, and we were just running a small organization. So there is so much to learn from people around you on social media itself, or even in on LinkedIn. You'll meet people who are running organizations that are 10 times larger than yours, and they are reaching out to us saying, we want to speak to you and learn from you. We've had that. We've had actual professionals who just want to talk to us and say, we actually loved your idea. I wouldn't take companies, but they're company executives from social media space. So we did have people who reached out to us, spoke to us about our idea because they were interested in what the mindset was, and we were like, wow, you reach somewhere in your life, but
Hmm.
you're willing to reach out to a kid and just ask them why they did this. And
Hmm.
so I feel what I really learned personally was that you can learn from anyone. You can
Hmm.
truly learn from anyone. We learned from social media influencers on how an Instagram reel must be made to how our humor in IGTVs must be,
Hmm.
and how we must cater to our audience and care about them through stories.
Hmm.
We learn through non-social media influencers on how we must run our business side of things. I learned
Exactly.
from I spoke to we spoke to Kevin's father. We spoke to my dad. We spoke to so many people who are in the business world. Okay, and we had the opportunity to even interact with top counseling organizations like the Red Pen, who really taught us how an organization must be run. Even if you're not registered
Hmm.
as a company, you're an entity,
Hmm.
not legally, but you're an entity.
You are like it's not on paper yet, but you're doing all of the shit that comes along, right?
Yeah, it's a brand. You have a brand, and
Yeah,
if
you have a
anything
brand.
can
Like
spoil that brand name, who's going to be pulled up first? The people who are the face
you're
of
gonna
that
be.
brand.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah,
And coming back to Kevin's point where he said that time is the most valuable thing we have. If I were to build on that, I'll say that what that time can manifest as is exploration. And you
100%.
explore new ideas, you explore new things, you explore new people, because as you said, you can learn from anyone. And it's
100%.
like, why would you just want to sit in your room and watch Netflix or all that? But if you want to do that, that's great as well, uh, you do you.
Yeah,
But approaching experiences in that time that you have, because I remember that when COVID hit, I was like, fuck, I cannot go out of my house, I cannot gain new experiences. I what where did I go? I went to the internet. Like, if someone was to ask me, where have you lived since the past year, I lived on the internet. I went from, I don't know how many websites, Discord servers, YouTube channels, and all of that places. I'm like, मुझे मुझे फाइनेंस भी सीखना है, मुझे क्रिप्टो भी सीखना है, मुझे फाइनेंस भी सीखना है, मुझे फिलोसफी सीखनी है, मुझे सब देखना है, मुझे देखना है टेक कैसे काम करता है, सब कुछ,
but
I've worked with people as social media managers, I've worked with people as video editors, I've worked with people as content researchers. It's like I'm all over the place. It's all just exploration that happens.
Right. Right. No, very true. I like what you said about
definitely, that's one thing I.
you living on the internet.
Sorry, what did you say, Ken?
I was saying, Aryan will agree with me on this, but what's Dan said about
Oh,
living on the internet, it's so true because
yeah,
I didn't even meet Aryan until like well into this. Like, we started
oh
up
yeah,
we started up in April, and then right till December, I don't think we met anyone on the team, and by that time, the team was like
we never met.
spread over like 8 different
Uh,
countries.
yeah, in fact, our third co-founder is my neighbor, and I didn't meet him until December
Uh,
downstairs to play catball or something like that. That's when we met. He lives across the door on the first floor, and I was like, I could just ask him, I could just talk to him, but it was a pandemic. So we were organizing Zoom calls when he lives right there. Uh, so I couldn't agree more. But one thing I realized also from the pandemic is this is not related to entrepreneurship at all. But you don't always, I personally feel with, you see these fantastic entrepreneurs who have leveraged social media really well in the States. And they're always talking about, successful people, you should sleep less than 8 hours, and, you should always be productive and all. Sometimes you can think a lot, when you're working on a lot, or you're trying to force yourself or try to be really high productivity, sometimes it can affect your mental health.
Obviously,
And it is okay to not be productive all the time. I mean, I'm sure you know this. You run a mental health or company related in
Yeah.
that space. It's fine to not always be productive because sometimes you
Yeah. I
might
mean,
just have your eureka idea while watching Drive to Survive on Netflix. I can
yeah.
give you a great example. Uh, I won't take his name because I don't know if he wants me to, but I a 14-year-old boy that I know, a cousin of mine, was inspired by watching MasterChef Australia. You know what? At the rate Vedic Cooks, check him out. He was inspired. I'm inspired by him every single day. I think Kevin and I are inspired by him because he's a 14-year-old boy. He was inspired by MasterChef Australia. And there are several kids like this, I'm sure. And he started his own Instagram page making French desserts, uh, stuff that I've not even heard of, nor can I pronounce. Okay. And I used to wonder, what am I doing with my life? Although I was doing Unif Connect, but I was like, that's a 14-year-old kid. And there are several
Yeah.
of these 14-year-old kids out there, 15-year-old kids,
Yeah.
16-year-old, 13-year-olds, coming up with their own t-shirts, with their own social media pages for mental health. It was a fantastic reckoning that you can do something by just sitting at your house with your main
Hmm.
aim not being a monetary purpose, but your main aim to be like hone your skills, improve it, or even make a change in any small way that you can.
Hmm.
Exactly. And
Yeah. I mean,
we could see the hustle that he put in. He text he sent people messages, ask them for like their ideas and stuff. And a lot of people, I think a few international chefs also did reach back out to him and spoke to him and stuff.
Oh
hmm.
And
yeah, it was
it
it
you
was
it
actually inspiring to see what a lot of young people. We're young, but I feel the younger generation than us, the 15-year-olds, who absolutely killed it. I mean, we did a
Hmm.
good job, but to do the stuff that I've seen by 15-year-olds doing, they're building mental health pages, they were raising funds for, I think Bombay Scottish students of Bombay Scottish raised a lot of money recently to help out the bus drivers and stuff like that. I don't know enough about it, but it's absolutely amazing. The fact that
Hmm.
people are just willing to take it upon their own shoulders. And people, by that I mean kids, 15-year
Yeah.
olds, 16-year-olds, because shout out to them, man, because I couldn't do that when I was 15. When I was 15, I was
Hmm.
really, really, really just watching TV and doing nothing. And that's
True.
also good.
8 hours of TV.
But
mm,
yeah, but that's also fantastic because sometimes if you didn't watch that TV, you might not have that idea. So I think
Yeah.
that it's it's complicated, when people say,
Yeah. So
"Why are you watching so much TV?" Maybe the guy who started Netflix, Reed Hastings. I don't know if maybe he wouldn't have had that idea if he wasn't an average television watcher. I don't know.
yeah,
So you
he
never know
said
where
मेरे
ideas
पास
might
ज़्यादा
come from.
चीज़ें हैं नहीं देखने को, let me make a platform so that people can watch more stuff.
Maybe that was it. I don't know. I read his book. I think it's somewhere here, man. No rules, rules. Absolutely fantastic book.
Yeah.
And maybe it was because of that. You don't know. You really might not know when an idea will strike you.
Yeah, so like I had 2 points to make. So first, when you said that about productivity and how it's okay to be not productive. So like again, to build on that, what is productivity? What is hustle culture? It's a product of capitalism, and what capitalism requires you to do is run on a hamster wheel and do everything that you can for like not always yourself. So it's like you cannot get trapped in that. Like people like even us, we are not doing this for money or something like, okay, we want to be at the top. We just do it because we enjoy it. We just do it because
Compassionate, absolutely.
we feel unfulfilled when we don't. And if your if your fulfillment can come from anything other than productivity, I don't think that's a problem. Our fulfillment is not based on productivity either. It's just based on maybe impacting people's lives.
right, exactly.
when
And
Oh,
like
definitely.
when people reach out to you, I mean, I'll tell you a personal example. Like recently I like, was scheduling a session and for Mentep, and the client had already paid, but the session was getting rescheduled some way or the other because of some reason. And I was feeling bad. I was like, why can't we just let this happen? Because, we need this. It should be on our priority list because it's a person. So I think that's what we truly believe in. And the second thing is, for as you said, like the generation younger than us, I think the best leverage that they have is that they are digital natives. Like when we were young, when we were 5 or 6, we didn't have technology to play with. What we had was our regular toys. And when we were growing up, then the internet came in, and the leverage that we took was, let's look at real life problems. And okay, we have an internet, let's solve it through that. Let's solve real life problems through internet. But with these guys, the younger ones, they are living on the internet. They have iPads when they are like 3 or 4 or 5. They know how to
Right.
they know how to use everything. Like I installed Discord when I
Right.
was like 18, and I had to learn it. I don't know a lot. I don't know it still how it works, like not very well. But people who are actually like gaming since like what, 12, 10, they know everything about Discord.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
that's
who
and
expected
if something like a
you?
Discord is, it's like a digital real estate in itself, digital estate in itself. If you can run a Discord, you can run a community anywhere.
Mm,
So I think
exactly.
that's the clear leverage that these
Yeah.
guys have.
Yeah.
In
We
fact,
all live,
gaming.
we all live on the
I
internet now.
mean,
As yeah, but these guys have their toes dipped daily down in the internet. And if I think about the future, it's like, okay, AR VR is the future. We're gonna all move to cryptocurrencies maybe somewhere in the next 100 years. And everything is gonna go from the physical real estate to digital real estate. And these guys know it all. These guys are the generation that knows about the digital real estate, but is not but but knows how to not get corrupted by it, because they know how the real world also looks like. Because if you're just exposed to the digital world, there are chances that you might get corrupted. But with the physical world being with you everywhere, you know how things can work out.
Right, exactly.
yes,
Some part of solving problems, digitally or like over the internet, does require being grounded in what is real and what we see in the present. But no, it's good that you bring that up, because sometimes you see a lot of people just trying to solve
yeah,
problems that don't actually exist in the real world, and that becomes a problem within itself,
Yeah,
and we'd like to
exactly.
skip over that.
yeah. You brought up the point of digital assets, and currently that's something that has really taken off. I'm personally not very well versed with every form of digital asset out there, but who knows?
You can't. Every day,
Honestly,
10 more new digital assets come out.
no.
Every day you hear of a
See,
new
I don't know if
coin.
something's going to succeed or not because I'm not very well educated about that subject.
Yeah.
I can't speak about it. But what
Hmm.
I think I can say, and I think Kevin can also say, because we are students of finance, and if you understand markets, you're bound to understand how this resurgence of economics and stuff works and how this happened. For some stuff, dot-com bubble in 1999, 2000. Um, Even as an entrepreneur, you don't know what you're jumping into is going to last. Okay,
You
maybe you're
don't know.
just jumping into a bubble, but you have to,
Yeah.
I feel, have the ability to recognize if you're going to jump into a bubble. I know it's an odd thing to say because it's really tough to recognize, but
Yeah.
sometimes you have to have the intuition or the ability to say ki nahi, this is becoming too big too quick, and what is wrong here,
Hmm.
because sometimes if things become too big too quick, there might be
Hmm.
something wrong in the underlying market which might be causing that too
Hmm.
big too quick, and that is what leads
Agreed.
to our bubbles and stuff like that. So I
Yeah, it's
feel
always like,
recognizing opportunity is key.
yeah.
No, sorry,
So I was
please.
like, yeah,
Go ahead.
I said that if anything is like, if anything is too big, too quick, it's almost always an indicator that it's not robust.
Sorry.
Like almost always, it's like if something is getting too big too quick, then it's always not, like almost always it's an indicator that it's not going to stay for long because it's not robust.
It could be
like
either way, right?
like if
Like
you
it
see,
could be
Look,
like the
like let me
internet.
take the example of Instagram only, right? Let me take the example of Instagram. Like with reels, you get a lot of followers, you get a lot of reach, but and that too you get it very quickly. But what is the underlying, how many people are you actually reaching out to? Like people who are just surviving on reels, they're reaching a lot of accounts very quickly, but how many people are they reaching? That's a, like that's a question. Because I was talking to a very successful social media manager as well yesterday, other day, and she told me that all the numbers that you see on Instagram, on reels, most of them are just numbers, but like they're not robust, they're not your audience, they're not even people a lot of the times. So
Right.
whenever
I
you
don't
see something
understand
getting,
social media at all. So I'm terrible at
yeah,
it.
like the algorithm, it keeps getting changed.
exactly. See, and I think I'd go out on a limb and say it's, I think it's, you can never tell if something's like going too big and too quick, because it's hard to say, that it is
Yeah,
big now and oh, it's quick now. But I think what really, what really needs to be taken into question is like you need to know the drivers of why things
the
are getting.
market.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
The
exactly.
fundamentals.
Exactly. You need to know where this is coming from, and as long as there's something, as we said before, as long as there's something solid and grounded in the real world that's kind of backing this up, then you can kind of like say that maybe that's why this digital asset is going forward in with this rate of
well,
growth.
definitely. I would say,
Yeah, I mean, that's why financial
knowing the fundamentals
advisors
is very
always
important.
are like, go invest in the Nifty, go invest in the Sensex, because they know that the fundamentals of all these companies are very strong, and in the long term they are just going to go up because they have something in their value.
This is not
Exactly.
financial advice. I just I see all
No, no, this
YouTubers
like
lined up.
I like
Time to go.
the financial advisors. I am not. Don't take it as like that. But I'm just using an example because, like, like I don't know, maybe, but the fundamentals are something that are very spoken about in the stock market as well. So I just
No, definitely,
took that
because
example out of there.
when you understand the driving
I don't know. You
factors
guys
that
must be
Kevin said,
knowing better.
more than the stock market, that's I think a fantastic example. Or even if you look at any market for a sort, for sorts, there is a driving factor, and normally the driving factor can either be that okay, this industry now has amazing technology, so that's uh, who knew that education was going to be a very valuable technology sector. I personally didn't. uh, I'm a 19-year-old
Hmm.
guy, and when I was 13 or 14, the only educational technology that I could use back then used to be on the Tata Sky. Used to have the option not to play those games,
Hmm.
or even on the App Store there was some educational games. Who knew that it was going to take off like this? You had Coursera come in. You had
Hmm.
several technology companies enter that sector. So also it's ever changing, right? It's always ever changing. In fact, with Univ Connect, to come back to the base of the podcast that we were talking about, the organization, we are trying to understand how can we reinvent ourselves for the new admission
Hmm.
season. How can we provide a
Hmm.
better product, which is not only just giving advice, but also help our advisors as a whole. How can we help them
Hmm.
network with each other? Because, okay, a
Yeah.
great example to everyone watching this, the Liberal Canon has given us this opportunity. Liberal Canon, I think one of the founders, Sana Shah, was an advisor with us, is an advisor with us at Unif Connect. And she's gone ahead and built a fantastic organization like the Liberal Canon. I'm sure there are several other advisors of ours or students out there who've gone and done this. So we were wondering how can we as an organization, Unif Connect, who have so many advisors, how can we also help them and help them grow their organization, even if it's a bit with our small reach? with our small network of several email IDs that we have, ask those email IDs, can we, send you, send them a survey, would you like to receive any information about student organization or student startups, and help student organizations which are built by Unif Connect advisors, because we really are trying to see how much can we help growth of other people too in the end of the day, because you'll only learn from that. You're not losing
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
by
I
helping
mean,
others in the end.
Yeah, I totally agree because like what I see Unive Connect maybe kind of sort of going into the future, it might just look like a student community all along where
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what we,
where
I feel,
students
look at it
are
as
not
first.
just maybe discussing about universities, they're also discussing ideas, they're also discussing whatever what they can do inside those universities as well. So
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a good way
Exactly.
of putting
And
it.
you know, because there will be competition, and I feel, instead of competing with competition, like, instead of getting angry, there are organizations that are bound to come out which are similar to yours, but there's so much to learn from them too, because there is also healthy competition needed, because everything can't be la-di-da for life, right? That's what we had with Unif Connect. Within 1.5 months, there were some organizations which came up who did a much better job with marketing it than us. I can tell you that. Either one of us or even to them, because in the end of the day, you will go where you like the service most, because your product should speak for itself. And if your clients enjoy your product and trust you through your website, through your user interface that you've built, they're bound to come to you. So you don't have to force
yeah.
it down their throat. If you're able to build something which is really good, people will come.
Yeah, and I also feel that with people like us who are fairly very early in the game, for us competition, whatever competition that we might have, it's not a threat for us. We look at it more from a learning standpoint, where
Or a
where because
collaborative standpoint too.
first,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, a learning a collaborative standpoint, because first of all, stuff like this, it's more of a positive sum game, uh, because it's not that Unif, like if they don't come to Unif Connect, they might just go to somewhere else and then usi ke ho jayenge. It's like it's the best with online communities. It's like I can join several of them, right? And
Exactly.
other than that, we are not really focused on making a lot of money with really quickly, because again, we don't have to. For us, it's more about learning
No,
stuff.
because
So we're always looking for
also
where
you're
we
building
can
an
learn
asset,
from, how
right?
we can help people better. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, making money is very important, because the capitalistic outlook does work many a time for an organization. I
Yeah,
mean, the
it
top
does.
organizations are built on a capitalistic outlook because it's a must. The stock market, everything is capitalistic in the end of the day, if you think about it. Sorry if I've said anything wrong. And but
No, 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 no.
my
Obviously, it's not.
entire
I mean,
point that I was coming to was that yes, it's not about making money today. Yes, sometimes I would have loved to have the ability to maybe make this a viable company. I've not had the eureka moment on how I'll do that. We worked on several different solutions. We're still trying to figure out how to. But if I do, I will definitely jump on the bandwagon. But my entire point is, when you have an organization, what people don't take into account is that you're actually building an asset. The minute you register it, the minute you attach the domain name, you already have a value. You're already building your personal net worth as you increase your number of clients. Because hypothetically, when you go to someone with a large number of clients and you raise funding and they put in money, and then you start generating revenues through a new revenue model, is when things could start fall into place much easier. And you will, and I think that's how all organizations are built. I'm sure a lot of you all have watched Social Network, people who are watching this, a very interesting movie about how Facebook came to play. I don't know how much of it is true, no clue, but it was an absolutely amazing movie because of the fact that I remember they had reached 1 million users, and they made the decision that we're not going to put advertisements yet because that's what makes us cool. That's what
Hmm.
makes us Facebook. That's what makes us this platform where people can actually interact. So, in the long
Yeah.
run, having a mindset not only about the money might work, because if you're just
Hmm.
trying to achieve goals,
Yeah.
at some point the money will come. At some point, the asset will be valued at a lot.
Yeah. And
Like obviously all
Asset
the
will
big
come.
companies that there are, their their final aim is almost always never to make money. I mean, at this point, Facebook is really not looking at your money, it's not charging you for using the app, it's just looking at your information, right? So,
Right.
and you cannot run a long time organization if you're looking at just money, because there are other ways. And I'll dare to say that there are easier ways to make money,
Right. I think what is
like
more
apart from running
So
an
they
organization.
I think
definitely
what
do
is
look
more
at money.
important.
I
I think what is more important is like. Sorry, wait, Arun, were you saying something? Are you,
no,
like,
sorry, I'll continue after you. Please go ahead.
okay, no, I thought it's important to bring up that, like, some companies are more into money, some companies are not. Uh,
Yeah.
but I think it fundamentally depends on, like, if you're able to
Yeah.
generate value for your, it just
Yeah.
basically just generate value. Because, I mean, let
Yeah.
me, put things into perspective. Back in 2010, if we were sitting at, like, if we were taking tuitions, you wouldn't think the tuition teacher is really kind of like making millions or something like that.
Hmm.
But give it another 10 years, something like Baiju starts popping up, tuitions as, you can do your tuitions on a tablet now. And suddenly Byju's is making millions and millions of rupees, and before you know it, Byju's actually has the clout to start acquiring other companies. And
Yeah, they acquired Akash.
exactly, that's what I was talking about. And if you just think about it, that, like, you could go from your tuition teacher who earns, like, 500 rupees to, like, a straight up M&A cycle in, like, 10 years. You should really be prepared to, like, know that there are, if something brings value to the table, it could be big. And, like, as long as you kind of, like, have that in your mind,
Yeah.
and that is your focus, you will be able to, like, kind of figure out where opportunities lie in the future. I mean,
Agreed.
it's crazy, right? Like, if you think about it.
Aryan, you were saying something.
Yeah, I was just saying I was not agreeing with one point, but what I wanted to say was any company which is not registered as not for profit has a profit incentive, has a profit in aim, and everybody wants to maximize their margin. I
Hmm.
could say mostly everybody. Let me be politically correct. Mostly
Yeah.
everybody wants to maximize that margin because everybody wants to. If you're a public company, you want to maximize return to shareholders. You do want to ensure that you are able to make a large profit. Normally, that's the aim.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
also, it shouldn't be at the you shouldn't. It shouldn't be at the
And
downfall of someone else,
yeah,
at
it
the
should not
downfall
be
of
at
your
the cost of your
consumers, at the
values.
downfall of your or of people who don't even use your product.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can be you have to keep your ethical values intact, and
Yeah.
if you're and try and increase your profits definitely. If you have a good
Yeah. And
product,
I
why not
believe,
make
and I believe like
good
for people
profits?
like us, our profit just, it's just not, does not come
Comes from only money. It's not that Unive Connect or Mentep or like
Yeah,
all it needs is money,
at this
because
age, definitely.
what we need is, we need to learn.
we need more connections. Like the amount, the network, as
No,
we talked
definitely. At
about,
this
the
age, it's
network that
all
we
about
can
connect.
get, it's much more valuable than all the profit that we make for now. I mean,
Because we're still at our
I
learning
think
stages,
learning
man. We're
is
like not
most
19,
important.
20, and we're not that 35, 40 where we're like, okay,
Yeah.
we are in this field and now we need to make money off of this field only. We're still
Yeah.
figuring out like where do we make our most, where we can make the most
Where do we
money
fit in?
while enjoying it. Yeah, where do we fit in? So for us, the
110%.
margin is
Because
much more than like monetary profit.
yeah, because now max to max you'll make enough money. If you do, maybe you'll buy a good pair of kicks or a good sneaker for yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm being very blasé and saying this for a larger audience, that maybe someone would do that. If you gave them like 5,000 rupees, they might go buy some clothes.
Yeah.
But instead of that 5,000 rupees, if you're given the opportunity to network with a lot of people, I would go. If your 5,000 rupees was going to be spent on clothes and stuff like that and not an investment, then I would much rather take the opportunity to meet, network, build my knowledge and learn from people, because boss, there's always something to learn. There is always something to learn. And I realize that 99% of people are smarter than me.
Yeah.
What one thing I can do is just learn from them, because people, like, I can tell you one thing from our entire team, Kevin and Tynan, my two co-founders, are very good work, have very good work ethics, and I could say are way more hardworking than me. Yes, I would come up with spitball ideas which we would then work on, but the amount of hours they were able to put in, how they manage their studies, because USA the term starts a bit earlier, 1 month before, but they were still giving me their 100%. So
Time.
I feel there's nothing but respect and for them, of course, and the ability to learn from them and the entire team that I saw that we built.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like, so
Just to wrap this up, I'd say that whenever even I do internships, I don't work with companies. I work with people so that I can be directly in touch with them. And I rarely ever talk about the stipend, because I know a lot of people just do internships for money and certificates. I just do it because I mostly do it because first I want to learn and second I want to network. Like, if I were to tell you that I am in personal connection with one of India's top tech creators just because I'm interning for him. So that's that's like, and like even on my first day of call with him, I said that I'm doing this just because I want to know how you think, and he was like, yes, you have the unfair advantage now.
It's
What's better
invaluable,
than
right?
that?
When you learn.
Yeah, what's
So
better than
yeah,
that?
completely, definitely.
So to wrap
Wow,
this
look at
up,
us
how was your
talking like
experience,
a bunch of
guys?
30-year-olds.
yeah, I mean, I missed you there. I missed you there. What did you say that?
I was saying, look at us. We're talking like a bunch of 30-year-olds who are, experienced so much in life.
Yeah.
That's what happens
Just
when you are in
talking good
a
stuff.
like when you're in a
I
1 hour
don't
long
talk about
conversation.
serious stuff, man. It was
You
really interesting. Thank you so
off
much for this
casual,
opportunity.
and yeah, you start off casual and then you get philosophical as you go. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you so much. I watch a ton
Yeah.
of
Thank you
podcasts,
so much.
and it was an honor to be able to do one. I was like, you want to talk with me? Yeah, sure. I love talking.
Yeah.
How was it for you,
Definitely.
Kevin?
I think it's amazing. It's I thanks for the opportunity to get up here.
Thanks for being here.
Um, Thanks for hosting us so well, and
Thank you.
definitely looking forward to seeing a lot more of you, in the future. So keep it
Yeah,
up. It's been great.
yeah.
Yeah. Guys,
You
check
guys
out
as
the
well.
Liberal Canon. And if
Yeah,
you all want
all
to
the
support
links are in the
Unif Connect,
description.
it's at the rate Unif on
Yeah, you
Instagram and
get
Unif
everything in the
Connect.
description. I'll make sure that I add everything in the
Oh,
description.
fantastic.
Go
Done.
check
But
Aryan out.
Liberal
Go
Canon.
check Kevin out. Go check Unique Connect. Yeah.
Check out Liberal Canon.
Oh, we too.
And
Okay. Yeah.
okay, so like, share, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.